Hi, everybody. I just want to come on today and do some answers to some questions I received for this Q&A session. A lot of people sent me questions by messenger and by email, so thank you very much. I will get to as many as I possibly can in about half an hour. I don't really think videos like this should be longer than that. So I'm just going to start from the top and let's see how I do. Okay, so the first question is from Vanessa. Should you be sitting in the power and sitting with spirit equally? Yes, I would suggest if you are starting to learn about sitting in the power and learning to sit in the power, you should do it every day for about 25 to 30 minutes. I know that seems like a lot, but the more you do it, the more you become used to building your power, the less time you need to prepare for it in the future. So it's sort of like going to the gym or long distance running. You have to build up your tolerance and your stamina to it. But in the beginning, I would suggest about half an hour daily and then like 20 minutes every other day. I do find that sitting in the power changes you from the inside out. It's about igniting that eternal beam of light within this physical body, which is attached to the divine, and it's your spirit basically, and you're just building your light out, and then after that there are many different techniques you can do. You can meld, blend, and harmonize with the power of our planet, all living beings, the cosmos, the universe, and then you connect to the divine, to the power of God, and you just allow God's light within your light, and it just sort of tops you up, your power. Sitting in the power is basically just like taking your plug and plugging it into the socket of the universe or to God, and it just builds your power. It ignites your clairs. It focuses you. It lets the problems and issues of daily life kind of fade away for a while. So I would suggest doing that every day. I know that's not your question. Just want to explain what sitting in the power is to some people. And sitting with spirit. Now, sitting in the presence of spirit is something that I do every day. Sitting in the presence of spirit is really just setting the intention and desire to sit in the presence of the collective power of the spirit. It doesn't need to be your loved ones. It doesn't need to be your guides. It's just this loving, supporting power of the spirit as they build around you. So that I would suggest doing every day. And you should basically be doing them in equal measure to each other. So sit in the power one day and then sit with spirit the next day. You can sit in the power, build your power, and once your power is ignited and you bring in the power of the universe, the power of the light of God, then you can, if you have the time, use the same session and then set the intention and desire to sit in the presence of spirit. That's usually what I do. Yeah, you should be doing them equally. I would definitely do them as much as you possibly can. Vanessa has a part A to her question. I used to do trance writing all the time. I notice it's less, but I seem to be hearing more. Is it natural as you start hearing more to write less? Not really. Um, I tend to write and I also hear, and sometimes I'll write what I hear, but that's really not chance writing. If you're hearing it and you're just writing it down, that's sort of inspired. Trance writing is really not really hearing it, but allowing the spirit community, the spirit control in trance to write through you. So I think things ebb and flow with mediumship, especially with trance. Sometimes you'll write more, sometimes you'll write less. It depends how much time you can really dedicate yourself to it. But I do feel with trance writing, it's not so much about hearing and writing down, like repeating what you hear by with your hand. It's really allowing them to sort of use their stream of consciousness to go above and through ours and let them to use our physical form and write through us. But if you're hearing and you don't feel the need to write anymore, then don't write anymore or don't write as much. I think it's fine. We all change. Our abilities and ourselves, it change every day. So I don't think you have to write more. If you want to write more, it's fine. Okay, the next question is from Tammy. How to communicate with my guides so I can better understand, hear them to start the journey they're pushing me towards. Thank you. You just have to go into the quiet, Tammy, and not expect anything and take all your wants and needs and push them aside. I'm hearing it's going to be different than she thinks. So the wisdom and inspiration from my guides, it's very subtle to me. And they don't really speak in verses to me. It's really quite fast. Yes, no, do this, don't do that, go forward, pause. It's not so much like a big book they're reciting to you or reading to you. It's really short bursts of wisdom and inspiration. And usually it's through what I just answered with Vanessa. It's usually when they write through me, do automatic writing with me or through me. That's when like it gets very wordy. But when they're just communicating with me through my spirit, it's rather short, and it really happens when I'm quiet and relaxed and not expecting anything. And you just start that way. What you can also do is sit in the power of spirit, as I just said before, and just ask that your guides come and sit with you. Ask that your guides make their presence known. Ask that they touch you or do something on your physicality. Maybe you'll feel like a light brush on your face or an energy burst moving towards you, just so you can start to feel them and know that their presence is there. And just ask them, let me feel you. Let me hear you. Let me see you. Drop wisdom into my mind. Harmonize your consciousness with my consciousness. But you have to sort of ask them to keep coming closer, come closer, come closer. But slowly it happens. I find anything with mediumship, anything with the spirit world, if I'm wanting something too much, it usually doesn't happen. So just relax into it, and just if any of you can get a little bit of inspiration from them, or a quick answer, a quick yes or no answer from them, you take that as a success and keep going. But the way to build your relationship with them is really just sit with them as much as you possibly can, and start by asking them to make their presence known so you can feel them. And then, like I said before, just ask them, let me hear you, let me see you, let me feel you, and just open a door to them. And they have a lot of ways to communicate through us, and they have a lot to share with us if we allow it, but not want it so much that we start blocking ourselves, and then we're expecting something and that we might miss it, because it is rather subtle, as I said. Okay. So Stephanie Underwood, she's not going to like the answer to this question. Stephanie asks, how can I hold the link longer and get more evidence? Practice, keep going. You can't, the only way you get better is to keep doing this. And the only way you can improve and build your confidence is by practicing and doing more and doing more. And if you feel you can do 3 readings a week, do 4. If you feel you can bring 2 contacts through for a mediumship session, do 3. Push yourself. I find that a lot of times when links start to fade down and become weakened, that's us. That's our confidence starting to wane. That's our power starting to wane. So if you find the link starts to fade, just take a moment, take a breath, rebuild your power, see if you can reestablish this link and keep going. It's usually with us. I don't find the spirit world usually pull away. It's usually us, and our concentration starts to go down, or the link or the blend starts to fade. And that's because we're getting nervous, we're getting tired, we want it to end, or it's not going well, and then the mind kicks on, and then you it's hard to recover from that. But yeah, the link, you have to keep checking the link, right? You have to keep making sure your link with the spirit communicator is strong. And if you feel it's becoming weaker, just take a second. I've done this before. Don't close your eyes. Don't get really quiet for too long. But literally, just take your glass. You should always have a glass of water or something to drink. Take a drink. So you're active with your sitter. But as you're taking the sip of water or sip of whatever, just rebuild your light and check your link, right? So it's kind of, a link is sort of like this energetic connection between you and the spirit communicator. And how do you get better evidence? Same thing, practice, keep going. Know that there's always more evidence to get, so ask for more. If you're doing a reading and you bring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of evidence through, go for 10. Always go for one more piece. If you think you're done, get another piece. And after that piece, if you think you're done, get another piece. Keep pushing yourself, keep stretching yourself. And there's always more evidence to get if you would take the time and ask for more. Give me more. Show me more. Tell me more. Let me feel more. Just let it keep going. But push yourself. The only way to get better is to practice and to honestly push yourself. But yeah, there's always more, and there's always a better connection we can make. Okay, so the next question is from Kathy. When I wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. at the same time when I'm supposed to be open and closest to God, why do I wake up often riddled with anxiety and persevere on a worry that is less worrisome by day? I have read, specifically Seth books, that time during sleep is the time that we are experiencing more of our true self and possibly exploring other experiences we are having simultaneously to our life here. So my question is, for that sacred time that is supposed to be we're supposed to be so connected, why do I often feel stressed out and have to work hard at bringing the peace back to my mind? I don't know. I don't feel I'm only closest to God or to source. What to say? Between 3 or 4 a.m., I feel like I'm close to God and to source all the time. I understand why people say that, because I don't know if it's so much 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, why, but I think it's when we're sleeping that they're mostly talking about, because, and I'm not sure about simultaneous existences. I don't really know anything about that, but I think because when we're sleeping, our subconscious takes over, and I do believe that our spirit will go visit the spirit world and will go get schooled in the sleeping state, and then obviously we're connected to our bodies by energy, so we come back when we wake up, and a lot of times you don't remember. I think a lot of times when we're woken up by anxiety or stress, it really is a lot of changes coming. It really is part of the spiritual awakening. I'm sure anyone would agree that when you go down this spiritual path and you're awake, the spiritual development, your sleep gets kind of weird. I find when stress starts to hit or anxiety starts, it's usually my ego. It's usually or unhealed issues that are coming to the surface, because that's also part of the spiritual awakening. I would breathe through it. I would really ask your soul, ask your spirit, what keeps waking you up and what is giving you this anxiety. Like I said, from my own experience, usually this anxiety, it doesn't usually happen when I'm sleeping, but when I start to get this overwhelming sense of stress or anxiety, I know there's an underlying issue that I'm not dealing with, so I have to try to figure out what that is. Why am I stressing out? It's usually I'm usually reacting to something in front of me, but it has nothing to do with what's happening at that moment. It's kicking up something. It's triggering me. So what is it triggering, and what is the trigger? That's usually what I have to figure out. But to me, because I know Kathy, I think because you're moving out into uncomfortable areas with starting to work and put yourself out there, working on your spirit work. I think deep inside, your ego or your fear or unhealed issues, resolved issues that you have to really look at, they react to it, and it can come out as anxiety and overwhelming anxiety sometimes. I understand that, but you have to say, what is triggering this? What am I afraid of? And you see, there's really nothing to be afraid of in this life, or this life change is coming that you have to deal with. And maybe there are things you've been shoving down. And now, as you awaken and you're moving into your own light or your own power, there are vestiges of our old self that, because I definitely have that man that on my back that tells me I'm not good enough. Who do I think I am? Why are you doing this? Why did you give up your old career? He makes his presence known quite a bit through my reactions. And but I just have to say that has nothing to do with my current situation. That has nothing to do with the life that I'm living now. But for Kathy, um, I think we're always close to God. I think we always should be able to connect to our authentic self. I don't think you have to be sleeping to do that. So maybe just in the waking hours, try to move closer to your own spirit. Try to move closer to your authentic energy, the authentic self that you are, this perfect being of light that's now endeavoring to move out and go out there in front of people and work and help people, and then feel the closeness of God or the divine or the power of the spirit all around you. Do it when you're awake, and then maybe you can feel what you need to sort of heal through, because we all have healing stuff to do during this short existence here in the physical realm. But accept all of this as it's a natural part of the awakening. So to me, it feels like something that you are holding on to, fear, unresolved issues, things like that, is starting to fight back because you're moving into the unknown. Okay, so but I hope that goes away soon, because everyone needs to sleep. Jamie, will you share about your spiritual journey, and did you have anything you found hard to overcome? Lots, and I still do. My spiritual journey. That's a long story. I don't think I'm going to get to it in the whole video. But I mean, my journey is like everyone else's journey. I had a lot of healing to do, a lot of things I chose not to heal through. So they manifested themselves in different ways in my life, through self-medication, through this overwhelming need to succeed, to be seen, to be heard, um, to earn as much as I possibly can, to be as thin as I possibly could be, to be as powerful as I could be in my old life. And then my father, that I had no contact with really, passed away. And I'm sure not having contact with my father, or being an abandoned child, basically, I'm sure that had a lot to do with me needing the need to be seen and the need to be heard, and to succeed, and that sort of "I'll show you" thing, and that basically led my whole existence. And I took all these abilities that I knew I had, and I shoved them down. And like I said, I self-medicated quite a bit. And when my father passed, I literally lit a candle and I said, "I don't understand what you did, but I forgive you." And literally in that moment, everything changed. This need to prove myself to other people, and I guess basically to my father, it went away. It dissolved, and then I was able to slowly move back to my authentic self. And then I just started, this is probably like 16 years ago. Then I just started taking a healing class, Reiki. I started with mediumship classes. That led me to really leave my old life and profession in New York. I moved full time back to Europe. And then being in Europe, I was able to go to a lot of these mediumship colleges, centers in Europe. And slowly but surely, ta-da, here I am. But sorry, that's like the short version of it. But yeah, but I'm still working on it. My journey is not complete. It will never be complete, as far as I understand and what I've been told. But oh, sorry, it was I forgot. What was the last one? And have you found anything hard to overcome? Yes, a lot. This, like I mentioned before in answering the last question, that little boy, young man that needed to prove himself, that he was worthy, that he had the right to be seen, to be heard, to succeed through ego, I think. he is on my back all the time, and he makes his presence known quite a bit. So a lot of times I find sometimes still that my reactions are not hard to overcome, but I've learned, okay, why am I reacting this so violently to this situation in front of me? It has nothing to do with this situation, but it's triggering something. So I guess the triggers are hard to overcome. But I think once you shine light on something, the darkness tends to dissipate. What else was hard to overcome? I guess hard to overcome was kind of like, um, who the heck do I think I am to do this? Um, yeah, like, why would anyone want to come and work with me? Why would anyone want to come and have a reading with me? But that's really coming from a lack of self-confidence, or anyone really giving me praise. So, but that was hard to overcome. But I think I finally got there. It's through hard work that you can really overcome anything. But you have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge what you need to heal through, and then everything seems to get better after a while. Okay, hopefully that helped. Okay, so Dawn. Um, I was told that I shouldn't charge for my readings, as my abilities are a gift from God. Yes, yes, yes. Typical. Yeah, this question I've gotten a lot. Well, I don't think you should charge an exorbitant amount for readings, or whatever you do. I think anything you do should be accessible to everybody. I try to always stay within a kind of average price point on anything I do. I know money is subjective, so what I consider accessible, some people might consider too expensive. But on the other hand, I don't know about you, Don, but the amount of money that I've spent on my development, on going to classes, on travel, on books, um, uh, everything, it's a lot of money that we spend. So we have the right to charge if we want to do this full time, or part time. But it's also, I think, it makes you feel better about yourself. Um, I'm not saying don't charge so much that people can't afford it. It costs them, like, a month's rent to get a reading from you, because no one's that good. Um, and if they are that good, they still shouldn't charge that much. But I don't charge for healing. I'll charge people how to learn how to heal, for sure, but that's a personal preference that I made. I don't just do healing. Probably if I just did healing, I would charge for it, but that's not really what I do all the time. So I don't feel comfortable charging for the healing act. But like I said, I will definitely have paid classes for people to learn how to heal, to become healers, trance healers, spirit healers, etc. But I think that you have the right to charge, because it just also makes you feel worthy. It makes you feel good about yourself. So yeah, I this question comes up again and again, and I get comments about this a lot, like I shouldn't be charging. But unfortunately, yes, it might be. I don't believe it's a gift from God. I think it's a gift for the world. But you know, I still have to pay my mortgage and my insurance, and I have to eat. So if I want to do this, um, you know, I have to charge. But like I said, I'm gonna say it again. I just think people have to be aware of what they're charging, and not make it so much money that people can't afford it, or they have to, like, sell their firstborn. Okay, so Paula, recently I did a reading with a practice partner, and she mentioned that a dark energy in my aura. This, of course, upset me, and I wanted to know how to remove this energy. Do you feel that there is an it is an attachment or a bad spirit? First of all, if you have someone telling you you have what dark energy? What was it? Dark energy in your aura, run as fast as you can. If it's a practice circle, and someone tells you that in a breakout room, go tell the circle leader right away. That's nonsense, and that honestly is it's a horrible and harmful thing to do to anybody. Um, I don't believe in dark entities. I don't believe in attachments. I think I'm very capable, with the power of my mind, to bring to make me the dark energy and to make me the attachment in my energy. I can perfectly take care of that on my own. I don't need anything from the underworld, wherever they think these dark energies come from, to come. I can take care of that by myself. Thank you very much. Um, I think anything that comes from the world of spirit is about love and about light. I think people that obsess on dark energies and dark attachments and spirit rescue and all things, they're calling this in to themselves. So I had a teacher once, and she had some very wise words. Obsession leads to possession. Okay, so if you go into this just knowing this is all about God, there's nothing God does without love. Anything that you do with spirit, check your heart first, and then anything coming from God and the spirit realm is 100% love and compassion. Then you won't have to deal with any of these things. Okay, you will definitely get practice partners, excuse me, teachers sometimes, who will talk about possession or attachments and things like that. That is not part of my belief system, and I actually don't tolerate that in anything, any classes that I do or anybody that I work with. I squash that pretty fast. But yeah, run far away if someone starts talking to you about something attached in your aura or dark energy following you around or possession. It's, to me, it's the person who's saying it. That's like it can be it can definitely be malicious intent, and I try not to think like that. I think I prefer to think maybe it wasn't meant in that way, but if it's coming off there, if it's coming off, if they're saying it like that, it's usually malicious. So run away. They're the dark energy. They're the attachment. But let it go. I understand something like that is quite harmful, and it can plant a seed in your consciousness. You need to let it go and know, excuse my language, that's total crap. Okay, I'm sorry that happened to you, but it happens a lot. You need to protect yourself. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Let's go back to Jamie's question. Is anything you found hard to overcome? Yes, this is going to go and loop into what I just answered for Paula. What I found hard to overcome is when I would go to workshops, retreats, or classes, I thought everyone was spiritual and wonderful and the carriers of light. And what was hard for me to overcome was the realization that just because you meet someone in a spiritual situation does not mean they're spiritual well. Okay, that's actually was a really big lesson I learned. Okay, so, but Paula, I'm sorry that happened to you. Okay, so I think this will be the last question that I will read today. Hi, Joseph. I'm looking desperately for a mediumship circle to join. I've joined a few and they did not end well. I was bullied, and people told me that I wasn't a medium. Can you suggest any circles that I could participate in? Well, I'm sorry that's happened to you. Who wrote that? Sharon wrote that. I'm sorry that happened to you. Keep looking for the right circle. Exactly what I mentioned before. Just because you're going into a circle working with mediumship or anything in the spiritual world, sometimes the people in there aren't so spiritual. It's not up to anybody in a circle to tell you're not a medium. So maybe find a teacher to go to first. Maybe take a development class so you can sort of push back at people that tell you that you're not a medium and you don't belong there. Be honest with yourself, of course, but in a circle, no one should no, especially not circle members. They shouldn't be telling you if that you should be there or not. A lot of people I know keep looking for the right circle, and eventually they find it. Okay, don't give up. That's all I can say. Maybe you just haven't found the right teacher yet, or the right group of people to practice with safely, because there's no way you can be safe and let down your guard and relax, and you have to be relaxed and you have to let down your guard to be a good conduit vessel for the spirit world to work through. If you have people sort of bullying you, go running. See, exactly to my last point. Just because you meet people in a spiritual class, mediumship, healing, psychic, whatever, does not mean they're spiritual at all. Okay, so that's a big lesson I find with this work is we would love it to be all about love, light, and compassion. It ain't always like that, but we can make it like that, and we can find people that share our values and our intention, which the intention is always to help humanity. That's what this is. We're here to help and we're here to be of service. So don't pay anyone no mind. Don't let anyone live rent free in your head. All of their opinions are just that, they're their opinions. And just go into your power, build your power, and ask the spirit world to help. I do think you definitely need to understand the mechanics of mediumship and have a good foundation. But after that, go to spirit, work with them. They are the best teachers that we have, and I've learned the most directly from spirit, to be honest. Um, but yeah, okay. So that's all the questions I'm going to do today. I hope that's helpful. Keep sending questions. I'll probably going to try to do this every few months. And but thanks for the nice group of questions, and I will see you soon. Thanks. Bye.